Good morning, guys. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for watching. Oh, I need to clean this. Yeah, really appreciate all the likes and subscribes. For some reason, I'm getting a lot more views and picking up more subscribers in the last couple days, so I appreciate it. I promise to show you the down and dirty of how I live in a camper full time. So it's Saturday, and although I'd love to be fishing, I'm sure she would too, we have some chores to do. So here you go. Single guy. Over the week, I usually clean this about once a week. Floors, you know, sweeping, mopping, laundry. Usually I keep up with my dishes on a daily basis, but apparently I was tired, and that looks like a couple days worth of stuff. So sorry, I'm still a bachelor. Gotta pick some crap up and get things done today. So I'm going to show you some of the weekly chores that I do. One of the things that has to happen weekly is dumping out my black water. So one of the mistakes that I made when I started doing full-time camper living is that I released all my gray water, and I just had that open, and I also had the black water open. What I found in this camper anyway is that caused the toilet to clog up eventually and kind of clog the tank. Even though I do long flushes, it was better for me to hold the black water weekly and dump that, and then just let the gray water go. The connections look like this. This is black water, that's gray water, and then it just drains out into the septic. So I'm going to open up the black water. You'll hear it going down. I tend to leave that open for about 30 minutes to make sure everything drains nicely, and then I usually do my dishes or I take a shower, so the gray water will flush the black water down. I have no odor of anything. I put some chemicals in the toilet, but that's pretty easy. I also just find that for some reason in the winter time, I don't know if it has to do with the cold or what, but the toilets seem to clog up about once a month, and it's a nasty deal because, you know, you can see it kind of backing up. And I have a trick, maybe I'll show you. I didn't video it last time, but I just have a real rigid hose, and I shove it way down because well, I'll show you. That is the toilet flush. So somehow it ends up backing up into here sometimes, but you can see it has different elbows. I remember I called an RV repair guy because I just couldn't get it taken care of, and he brought me this special part that he had that pressurized, and that part just didn't work. I take a hose, a separate hose, and I use obviously for my water fill, and then the end of it is just more of a rigid white hose, you can see. And rather than mess around with that part, I just shove that down there, and then I unkink the hose, and you know, I wiggle it around, and usually it blasts it out. So that's a nasty aspect of living in a camper, but it's manageable as long as you take care of business. It's about 10 a.m. I can hear all the boats on the lake, and you see my attire, my favorite jammies. So I finished folding up my clothes, but this is what the closet looks like. I've got too much stuff. It's time for me to give some things away, and you can see the size of the closet. If I had a girl, her stuff might go there, I don't know. But you can see what my favorite colors are. My friends in Peru say gringos wear green. They made fun of me, but I don't have a whole lot of green stuff. You can see on my drawers here, again, they're not all filled up, and then storage for, you know, towels and whatnot. There's storage all over this. I think one of the most important purchases that I had was replacing the mattress that came on here. It hadn't been slept on, it was new, but I could feel every spring in it, and I bet you it was only, I don't know, 12 inches. So I went to Denver Mattress and got a pillow top mattress with all the covers and whatnot, and that really makes my life a lot better. That and the Tempur-Pedic pillows. I usually try to, well, I wash my sheets. I change my sheets weekly because I work on the land and get a little funky sometimes. I think I chose wrong by choosing beige or off-white or whatever for the sheets. Definitely wouldn't do that again. So this is what I was talking about with the trash. Whenever I had the garbage or the grocery sacks, it would always hang over a little bit. So for me it looks better and it doesn't leak. So I've got my trash, I've got my laundry ready. Now it's time for the fun stuff. I haven't had a dishwasher for about 5 years, so I'm kind of used to washing dishes by hand. This camper has a double sink, which is really nice. I just put my drying rack, and I never really use that side of the sink, so it takes a little bit, but you know, it's what you got to do. People have asked me if my sink gets clogged, and no, I've never had a clogged sink. People ask, do you have enough hot water? I would say for me, I mean, I can wash all my dishes in hot and it's fine. I can have, I mean, I could really honestly, I'd probably have a 15-minute shower and I never lose hot water. I've done a couple things in the kitchen that have made things easier for me. This is just peel and stick, this subway tile. I had to use some extra glue to get it to adhere to the wall, but because you've got your cooking area here, if you cook with anything grease, which I cook a lot of fried type of stuff, it'll make a mess. But just having the subway tile that's plastic or rubberized or whatever, it's easy to clean up. I'm sure there was somebody out there that wondered, is this fool gonna show us when he cleans his toilet? No, I'm not. But people ask me, how big is the toilet area? And it's plenty big. I don't feel cramped. People ask, does it smell bad? I say no for the most part. I've got this window, and I also have this. It has an exhaust fan if you need it, so that's good. So it's pretty big. People ask, why do you have that? All it is water. Sometimes you can't hook up to the external water because it's freezing. So I keep a number of half-gallon jugs around, glass bottles, to use water if needed. People say, how big is the shower? Can you stand up in it? Yeah, you can stand up in it. You got plenty of room. Probably be big enough for 2 people. But it has a seat. Oh, great. That wasn't a smart idea. Guys. People ask, how big is it? I think that this is 350 or so internal square feet. People say, do you hate sleeping next to your bathroom? It doesn't really bother me. There's no smell or anything, and things are close. I feel like every camper is made a little bit differently. These fifth wheels have a lot more ceiling height, which is really cool, and they have ceiling fans. A lot of smaller campers that are just tow behinds don't, but it's comfortable for me. I've got everything I need, more than, and I kind of like having things close. I'm a guy, so it's not like I need a lot of square footage. You'll see in the house that I build, it's not going to be very big, but I've got more than everything I need. And you know, I haven't cleaned the floors yet. This is just always a mess. It's my gun cleaning kit to remind me I need to clean, but it's my YouTube area. Every time I wash these, I just go get them muddy again, so I'm gonna hold off on washing them for a little bit. This is a little station that I haven't really utilized that much. I'm gonna build a thing this week for a charging station and to get some stuff off of this so I can fill it back up with more stuff. The floors, I'm really happy with the floors that I did. Again, I wouldn't do the luxury vinyl again. I just do the roll-on vinyl because it's impossible to level these floors perfectly. But being able to sweep with a shepherd is really important. I usually sweep a few times a day. eat our floor. So one thing I tried to do to make it look a little nicer, and I used liquid nails, but I also nailed it if I could. It's your dog hair. So this is a difficult area. I'm replacing this because it already broke. So I just tried to do a couple of things that I knew how to do in regular construction that would make this look a little bit better, but I had a hard time adhering. I just used Lysol to clean the floors. Oop. That didn't look real smart, did it? Take two. Remember to act smart. So I use this mop. I've used different kinds, but this one is real easy to put up, and that's what I like about it. And it was cheap at the dollar store. That is a week's worth of yuck on the floor. So it does get pretty dirty, but one of the things I really like is a ceiling fan. I also really love having this screen door. It keeps the bugs out. People ask, are there more bugs in a camper? I haven't really found that at all. Of course, you need to swat flies in the summertime. I did have a bunch of ladybugs come inside. We had a really mild winter, and the people around here, the old timers, say that when the ladybugs try to come inside, they're trying to get out of the cold that's coming. And it got cold, but it never got cold enough to kill the ladybugs that would find their way into my camper. I let them live, and kind of weird. I didn't want to kill them, so I put them outside in the spring. So, oh, people ask, what about your LP gas? How much? On mine, I've got 2 tanks. How long does that last? In the winter time, it'll last probably about a month, and that's with all of my, I don't heat this way. I use the electric from the park, but I would heat my water and of course cook and things. Back before one of my heaters died, I turned on the oven and let that run for most of the night to heat up the cockpit area. So I have to remember to close that. People ask, how much storage do you have? This thing passes through, and I've got 2 chainsaws, the largest still weed eater they make, and a weed blower in this, and a lot of tool stuff over there. What about the water connection? I've got a tank, I believe 70 gallons, that's under the back of it, or I have city connection. I do this to, it's a heated hose, so that in the wintertime the spigot won't dry solid. That made no sense. The spigot won't freeze solid. I also have storage under here. A lot of stuff. Another chainsaw. I think I may have a problem. Do you have a problem if you own 3 chainsaws? Feature that I really appreciate about this RV, especially living in a park, is this copper tent glaze thing that they put on the windows. You can't see inside. It's impossible. So that's neat. There was all these ugly window coverings and those ugly, I don't know, ballast things that they put around them. They're made out of wood and fabric. I got rid of those, and I didn't even put shades back up because I like it light. So that's it. I'm pretty anal about cleaning, and I do a pretty good job, especially for a guy. So I think I can clean it from top to bottom with, you know, folding laundry and things in about 45 minutes to an hour. Wonder about storage. This particular model has really good storage. It's really deep. Sorry, I'll show you. Oh, it's not too bad. So this refrigerator is pretty cool. It has pretty good storage. Microwave. Now you're gonna see all my spices. I need to do something with organizing that. What kind of guy has 2 shelves and almost 2/3 of the shelf is made of spices? Guy that likes seasoning, apparently. So my dishes, this is a pass-through, which is kind of cool. So I'll give somebody a shout out on the next video if you can tell me what brand of plates I have. Edit that out, moron. This is where the water heater is, and this is what it looks like underneath my sink. You can see the extra water storage that I have. Around here, sometimes it'll go off for a couple days, then it never goes above freezing, so I like having extra around. People are curious about lighting. I run these guys overhead more often. I would like to replace them with LED. In campers, I think there's too much lighting because you also have the stuff that's on the side, and I don't use very many lights. People ask, what are the hardest things about living in a camper? And I tell them, I don't really see it as that. I like this. I like having things close and having my little space, and it's comfortable for me. I would say keeping it clean is important, and it's a challenge, but it's small enough that you can't make too much of a mess, because eventually you're just going to have to clean it up because you're tired of stepping over it. You really need to make sure your oven is always clean and you have foil underneath it, because if you have burnt cheese or something, it'll really smell the sucker up. Washing machine and dryer, that's maybe an issue. I could plumb one in here, and they are in this model some the combination units that people have like on sailboats, but they don't wash that much, and you see how dirty I get. So I take my laundry to the laundromat. But that's not really a big thing for me either, because I haven't had my own washer and dryer for 5 years. I've been going to the laundromat. I meet some interesting people there usually. Are the walls thick in a camper? I think mine are thicker than most. This thing weighs 14,000 pounds, and it's meant to be an all-weather type of rig. Some, like, you know, a lot of them in this park are only 7,000 pounds. So my walls are more insulated, as well as the floors, but they're not super soundproof. If I was walking outside and I was playing my movie really loud, you could probably hear it outside. Or if it's too hot or too cold, or it's easy to cool in the summertime. For me, it is. I'm not sure what size unit this thing is. Maybe 20,000. I have no idea. But it's always plenty cool in here. And in the wintertime, it's usually just fine in here. It's hard to hit that exact good temperature that you like. You're either because of the lack of insulation, you're either always a little bit too cold or a little bit too warm. I know, internet. People ask, how do you get internet? So there ought to be some Wi-Fi here, but there's not. There are cell phone towers around. It's just the thing at the park. Now I got this thing for off-grid internet called OTR Mobile, and they're online, and it's a monthly service. You buy this and this router that is mobile. You can take it around. Oh, it's dead. But you can take it around, or you can leave it plugged up, and it creates a, I don't know, Wi-Fi network. On my land, I have better service than here because of the cell phone tower. I have full bars, which is crazy. 5G works better for me here. This unit has that. It costs me $60 a month, and it's super easy to set up. If you get a camper, I would recommend changing the furniture out if you can. The yucky couch that came in here that was green, it wasn't comfortable. Little lazy boys, you know, you could arrange it a lot better with furniture. What I did here is I bought a lazy boy thing that folds out, and then this one, it's covered up. And then this is Delta's couch. Apparently dust gets underneath the blanket. Figured that out. So I redid my my table that was here. I just chalk painted it. The mattress, gotta get you a new mattress. Your back will love you for it. I think it's a smart idea to buy a camper at an auction, or cheaply if you can. I don't think that's a word, cheaply, and remodel it. I did. I'll leave the link below. I've told people before that I bought this on Copart Auction, Copart.com. It's a nationwide auction service, and they have several places in each state in the United States. I bought this for 4,000 bucks. I put about $880 into the remodel, which consisted of new subflooring from there on. I ripped out the carpet. I painted the walls. I did this trim and the trim that's in the bedroom. the luxury vinyl plank flooring, the subway tile here in the bathroom. I needed some self-leveling caulk and some stuff to repair a water leak up top, and I don't know, I probably did a few other things, but nothing serious. And like I say, 880 bucks for the remodel, and the retail value of this is at least $15,000. It's a 33-foot NUA 2002 camper, and they hold their value really well. This thing, I found the original paperwork. It turned out to be the second owner. They didn't hardly use it, and they paid $65,000 for it in 2002. So I think that was a lot of money back then. It's a lot of money now. I mean, I couldn't have afforded this. I pressure washed the outside and took the decals off. When it's pressure washed, it looks bright white, but you can see there's some mold accumulating here. I also thought about waxing it like you would a sailboat, but there's no clear coat on this, so that wasn't a smart idea. But it was really easy to get the decals off with a pressure washer. I wish I videoed that, but I just got it up close. It's nothing special pressure washer like a DeWalt, maybe a 5 horsepower motor, I think, maybe. And I don't know, I got really wet, but I bet you it was 3 hours doing a really good job, and it looked like a brand new fifth wheel. I plan to pressure wash it at least once a year. People ask, is it easy to level it? For me it was. You know, I use those drive up things, and you can see I didn't square up my tires directly on there, and I wondered if that was going to cause problem over time, but I've been here for a year and a half and it's no issues. They have really fancy self-leveling ones now, but mine's old school. When my block's down, they retract. I've got a built-in somewhere, oh here it is, built-in leveling thing. So it's not exact, I wouldn't say, but it's close enough for government work. This also has stabilizing jacks, which are really cool. I only use the back ones, but it has some in the middle too. We can see some that I'm not using there, and some other ones. So next time I set up, I'm gonna definitely get it pretty perfectly level and put all my jacks down. The one thing that I would recommend is to get a bunch of cinder blocks. See, I'm on the maximum extension there, which is okay because it's fairly level, but I would definitely have cinder blocks to kind of build things up. Use my awning. I don't have my awning retracted. Wait, no, extended. God, I'm an idiot. Like this guy does, because I've been around the wind when it's kicked up and I didn't want to lose it. But I think at my next place, I'm going to secure it and leave it out because it'll provide a nice little porch. And it's really nice to have something to get in out of the rain. She would love to be on the porch in the rain. She still is. When it rains outside, she's out here in the rain guarding me. And I bring her inside and she whines like it's a big deal. So she likes to be out here. And God, that dog loves a ball. What are the best things about living in an RV or a camper? I would say just it's inexpensive. I paid $4,000 for it, and I own my home, and I can take it wherever I want. This spot that I'm in is all utilities included, and it's $350 a month, which I think is a pretty good deal. It's only about 2 miles away from my land where I'm building a home, and I'm moving this from here to there here pretty soon, that well, and the power maybe next week, but it's supposed to rain a lot, so who knows. Another thing that I like is that it's self-contained, and I operate all the systems and I use all the stuff, and if anything breaks, I have to fix it right now because I need it. And I know when I'm in a home a long time ago, I would have all sorts of undone things because they weren't really essential. Everything pretty much around here is essential, so I don't let things go too much. Having a fifth wheel is also fun. I'm planning to take this thing all over the country, and you know, it gives you options to do it whenever you want, and then you basically have your house on wheels, and it's comfortable as anything. Another advantage is that it's easy to sell. A good camper that's fixed up like this would sell immediately on Craigslist. I know that I looked all over Craigslist when I was looking before I found the auction, and every like decent camper that I came by had already been sold. So, you know, I guess it's flexible. You can have a camper, and if you don't need it anymore after you build your house, you can just sell it. But only if you get the right camper, because they're really overpriced, especially when you buy them fairly new. Even the used ones can be really overpriced. You think that it may be a reasonable deal, and it may, but what's the resale value on it? That's really important. Hopefully this video helps somebody out, and if not, at least you get a chance to kind of see how I'm doing things. I really appreciate you watching. Please tell your friends about this channel and like and subscribe.